January is when most gardeners hibernate. But what if I told you that the next 30 days will either make or break your family's food supply for the entire year? There are exactly 17 crops that, if you don't get them in the ground this month, you'll be staring at empty beds in spring, scrambling in summer, and buying everything at inflated prices come fall. This isn't about gardening for fun anymore. This is about feeding your family when grocery bills keep climbing and supply chains keep failing. Stick around because I'm about to hand you a blueprint that turns one strategic month into 12 months of fresh food. Hey there, garden family. Welcome back to Timeless Gardens, the place where we prove that growing your own food doesn't require a trust fund or a degree in agriculture. For my returning viewers, you absolute legends, thank you for showing up week after week. You know we cut through the noise and give you what actually works. And if you're new here, perfect timing because today we're building something that'll change how your family eats all year long. Real quick before we dive in, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell because these strategies don't just grow food, they grow food security, and we drop them every single week. Drop a comment right now telling me your biggest fear about starting a garden. I read every single one and your struggles shape what I teach next. Alright, let's build your year-long food supply starting today. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. Most people fail at gardening not because they don't work hard, but because they start at the wrong time. They wait for spring when the weather feels perfect, then they plant everything at once, get overwhelmed, and watch half their crops fail because the timing was off. January is different. January is when you set up the dominoes that fall perfectly throughout the year. The crops I'm about to share aren't just random vegetables. Each one plays a specific role in creating continuous harvests from February all the way through next January. Think about it like this, you're not planting a garden, you're building a food system. And systems require strategy, not luck. The reason your family will eat fresh vegetables in March, store food in June, and harvest again in October all comes down to what you do right now in January. And here's what makes this even more critical. These January crops are cold warriors. They actually want to grow in winter conditions. You're not fighting nature with heaters and greenhouses. You're working with plants that were designed for this exact moment. That means less money, less effort, and way better results. Crop 1, Spinach. This is your speed demon winter green. Get it in the ground now and you're harvesting in 40 days. Which means late February when store spinach costs a fortune and tastes like cardboard. But here's the brilliance, spinach planted in January gets sweeter after every frost because the cold triggers sugar production in the leaves. You're literally getting better flavor by planting early. And when it goes to seed in late spring, don't pull it. Let it drop seeds and you'll have free spinach volunteers for years. Crop 2, Snap Peas. These need cold soil to germinate properly. Plant them now and they'll climb and produce by March. They hate heat, so if you wait until spring feels warm, you've already lost them. Plus, peas fix nitrogen in your soil while they grow, which means they're fertilizing the bed for whatever comes next. When they finish in late spring, immediately plant lettuce or chard in that same spot and watch them explode with growth. Crop 3, Broad Beans. Also called fava beans. These are the tanks of the bean world. They survive freezing temperatures that would kill any other bean. They produce massive amounts of food, and when you're done harvesting, you chop the whole plant and turn it into the soil as free fertilizer because they're packed with nitrogen. You're getting food and soil improvement from one plant. Crop 4, Kale. Everyone knows kale, but almost nobody knows it's nearly indestructible in winter. January planted kale will feed you from March through next January if you harvest correctly. Take outer leaves, let the center keep growing. One planting, year-long harvest. And kale needs frost to taste good. Summer kale is bitter. Winter kale is sweet and tender. You're planting it exactly when it wants to thrive. Crop 5, Lettuce. Specifically cold hardy types like Winter Density or Arctic King. This first planting gives you fresh salads in early spring. But here's where it gets strategic: every time you harvest, plant more lettuce in that same spot. Keep going every 3 weeks until summer heat arrives. One January planting starts a cycle that feeds you for 8 months. Crop 6, radishes. Ready in 25 days, which means you're eating fresh vegetables in late February. But radishes aren't just food, they're soil workers. Their roots break up compacted earth and pull nutrients from deep down. Use them as a soil prep crop, harvest them, then plant something else in that loose fertile soil. And succession plant radishes every 2 weeks for continuous harvests. Crop 7, arugula. This peppery green grows absurdly fast in cold weather. You're cutting leaves in 30 days, and it's a cut-and-come-again crop, so one planting gives you multiple harvests. When it eventually flowers, let it. The flowers are edible, beautiful, and after it goes to seed, you'll have free arugula popping up everywhere forever. Crop 8, turnips. Here's the secret: you get 2 crops from one planting. The greens are ready in 30 days and taste like spicy mustard greens. The roots are ready in 60 days and store for months. Fast production, dual harvest, excellent storage. That's efficiency that saves money and feeds your family longer. Pause right here because we're halfway through and I need to know this is landing. If you're already planning which of these you'll plant first, hit that like button so YouTube knows this information matters. And drop a comment. Tell me which crop surprised you most or which one you're most excited about. I'm reading every comment and I want to hear from you. Let's keep going. Crop 9, carrots. Specifically fast-maturing varieties like Nantes. January planted carrots take about 75 days in cold soil, so they're ready in early spring. And here's the beautiful part: carrots can stay in the ground for months after they mature. They're self-storing. Start harvesting in April, keep pulling as you need them through June. Meanwhile, you're planting your fall storage carrots. This January batch fills the gap. Crop 10, onions. These grow slowly through winter and spring, then mature in early summer. Cure them properly and you've got onions that store until next January. Literally a full year of onions from one planting. And since onions are the backbone of almost every meal, having a year's supply means never buying them again. Calculate what that saves you. Crop 11, leeks. The fancy cousin of onions but actually easier to grow and more cold-hardy. January planted leeks mature in about 120 days, but they can also stay in the ground through winter in many climates. They're living storage. Plant now, harvest as needed from spring through next winter. And leeks are expensive at stores. Growing your own is a massive budget win. Crop 12, cabbage. This is your ultimate storage crop. January planting gives you heads ready in April or May. Store them in a cool place and they last for months. But here's the strategy: this early cabbage gets eaten fresh in spring. Then you plant a second round in summer for fall harvest and true winter storage. The January planting teaches you the crop and fills the spring gap. Crop 13, potatoes. If your ground isn't frozen, January is perfect for early potatoes in mild climates. In colder zones, use January to chit your seed potatoes indoors, getting them to sprout so they're ready the moment soil is workable. Early potatoes give you new potatoes in May or June. These bridge the gap until your main fall storage crop matures. Continuous potato supply from strategic timing. Crop 14, garlic. Technically should have been planted in fall, but if you missed that window or you're in a mild area, January still works. You won't get massive bulbs, but you'll get green garlic and scapes, both of which are gourmet ingredients that cost a fortune at stores. Plant now, harvest the greens in spring, win anyway. Crop 15, field peas. Also called Austrian winter peas. This is a cover crop you plant in empty beds. They grow through winter, fixing nitrogen from the air into your soil. In spring, cut them down before they flower and turn them into the soil. They become free fertilizer. Then plant your heavy feeders like tomatoes in that exact spot. Food and fertility from one planting. Crop 16, Crimson Clover. Another nitrogen-fixing cover crop, but more cold-hardy than field peas. It grows slowly through winter, explodes in spring with bright red flowers that pollinators love, then you cut it down and incorporate it into the soil. You've added nitrogen, organic matter, and supported pollinators. Triple win. Crop 17, Winter Rye. This is your ultimate soil protector. It grows in the worst conditions when nothing else will. Its roots dive deep, breaking up compacted soil and pulling nutrients up from below. It prevents erosion, suppresses weeds, and when you cut it down in spring, it adds massive organic matter. Plus it's allelopathic, meaning it releases compounds that suppress weed seeds. Free weed control while building soil. Now here's where this becomes a system instead of just a list. Your spinach, peas, and radishes harvest in late winter and early spring. That fresh food carries you until your lettuce and arugula kick in. Your kale is producing steadily in the background the whole time. Turnips give you greens early and roots later. Carrots are sizing up underground, ready whenever you need them. By late spring, your onions, leeks, and cabbage are maturing. You harvest and store them. Your early potatoes are ready to eat fresh. Garlic is giving you scapes. The beds where peas and beans were growing are now super fertile and ready for summer crops. Through summer, you're eating stored onions, cabbage, and carrots from spring. You're succession planting more lettuce and radishes in shaded areas. Your kale is still producing. You're planting your fall storage crops, main season potatoes, more carrots, more cabbage, winter squash. By fall, your summer crops finish and your storage crops mature. You harvest everything, store it properly, and you've got food through winter. Meanwhile, you're planting garlic, cover crops, and starting the whole beautiful cycle again. One strategic January creates a system where something is always producing, something is always being stored, and your family is always eating real food that you grew. Let me be straight with you about why this matters beyond just saving money on groceries. We're in a weird time. Food prices aren't coming down. Supply chains are fragile. Economic uncertainty is the new normal for most families. Learning to produce even a portion of your own food isn't a hobby anymore. It's insurance. It's knowing that no matter what happens with inflation, shortages, or whatever crisis comes next, your family has food. And it starts with using time wisely. January planting specifically teaches you that food security isn't about one big harvest. It's about strategic thinking, planning ahead, and creating systems that work all year. Those skills matter in every area of life, not just gardening. Plus, there's something powerful about eating fresh food in February that you planted in January. It's proof that you don't need perfect conditions. You just need to start when others are making excuses. Here's what you do next. Pick 3 crops from this list. Not all 17. Just 3. Get those in the ground this week. Once you see them growing, add 3 more. Build momentum instead of overwhelm. If your ground is frozen, start seeds indoors or prep beds for the moment soil thaws. Use this month to learn, plan, and prepare. The point isn't perfection, it's starting. Keep notes on what you plant and when. Next January, you'll have real data from your climate. You'll know exactly what works. Gardening is about improvement, not instant mastery. Alright, garden family, those are your 17 crops that turn January into a year-long food supply. If this gave you a clear path forward, share it with someone who's worried about feeding their family on a tight budget. This information is too important to keep to yourself. Subscribe if you haven't already, because every week we're proving food independence is achievable for regular people with regular budgets. And comment below. Tell me which 3 crops you're starting with or ask me anything about your specific situation. Until next time, keep growing, keep planting, and remember that the best gardens aren't built in perfect spring weather. They're built in January by people who refuse to wait. I'll see you in the next video with more strategies to make your family food secure. Happy planting!